I am past Grandworthy Matron Betty C. Reed of Thrift Chapter number 12. I served one half of the year of 1998 and was elected to serve the year of 1999. I was born in Martinsville, Virginia, a very, very small city that is located in the southwestern portion of Virginia. I had 4 brothers and 1 sister, and I was the oldest. I had to look after everybody and make sure they were on the right track. I have 1 daughter. Her name is Alicia Bozella. She resides in Orlando, Florida, with her husband, Chris. And I'm so proud to be the nana of a beautiful granddaughter. Her name is Aurelia Taylor. And of course, she also lives in Orlando with her parents. My church is the First United Methodist Church of Hyattsville, of which I am a participant in many of the missions of the church. And I am proud to have been a member there for over 20 years, although I was born and raised a Baptist while in Martinsville, Virginia. When I left Martinsville, Virginia, I attended under a beautiful scholarship, Freedman's Hospital School of Nursing. It was one of the historic nursing schools at the time. After finishing there, I matriculated at Howard University, University of Maryland at Baltimore, as well as Catholic University. All the while, I was working as a nurse at the Veterans Administration Medical Center. And I think the cool thing, or some people say not so cool thing, I spent my entire nursing experience at this one hospital. But I did go to different sections, different departments. And I proudly retired in 2003 as a nurse practitioner. And that was really a joyful time serving the veterans. People have asked me, Sister Reed, how did you become an Eastern Star? Well, that's a very interesting question. I was at home, young mother, minding my own business, and my husband had just become a Master Mason, and that would be past patron William Douglas Reed. He came home one day with this piece of paper, fill this out. I said, what, fill this out? And then he explained that it was a petition for the Order of the Eastern Star, a group of ladies that worked with the Master Masons, and they were doing a great job down at 10th and U. Not knowing very much about what was going on except this beautiful petition that my husband felt was great for me, I had to investigate. My vouchers, past matron Martha Alston and past master Randolph Ivy, we had lunch together, we had several other meetings together, and they told me so much about the Order of the Eastern Star. And I was very much interested at that time. So I filled the petition out, and I was very happy to be admitted to Thrift Chapter number 12 in 1981. Still not knowing what I was getting into. After the 3rd degree, and we had this beautiful libation at the end, and I said, well, to my husband, I've done what you asked me, and I've enjoyed it, so now I'll go back home to my little girl who's 5 years old, and I'll be fine. Well, that's what I thought. I came to one of the meetings, everything was fine. I came to another meeting, then past matron Betty Pinckney asked me if I would be the chaplain. Sure. I thought I would come to a meeting once a month and say a prayer, and that was it. Well, as everyone knows, after being appointed chaplain in 1982, as the old folks say, the rest is history. 10th and U became my second home. My daughter, who was 6 years old at the time, the anteroom became her home. Some of my accomplishments as worthy matron, and I became worthy matron of Thrift Chapter number 12, by the way, in 1988. During this time, we had many charitable endeavors during the chapter. These were supported. We supported the scholarship program of the jurisdiction, and I also established a separate scholarship, especially for the children of the members of Thrift Chapter number 12. I also concentrated on increasing the membership in Thrift Chapter. In 1988, I was so pleased to have over 250 members. And the important thing is, you have to put them to work to get them to stay. I learned that very, very well. And the people who motivated me were the members right there in Thrift Chapter number 12. There was past Grand Worthy Matron Ruth Duckett. She was the founding editor of the OES News, and we still have that OES News to this day, 2017. Also motivational characters in Thrift Chapter number 12. We have past Grand Worthy Matron Cleo W. Davis, past Grand Lecturer Loretta Harris, and I'm proud to say, as Grand Worthy Matron at the 107th Annual Grand Session, I was able to bestow upon past Grand Lecturer Loretta Harris the honor of past Grand Lecturer Emeritus, which she so thoroughly earned. Also, very motivational to me was past matron, and I say is past matron Mabel R. Hart. Mabel R. Hart was worthy matron in 1959, and she is always the one member here in Thrift Chapter at each meeting night, waiting at the door for the other 14 people to come. We need 15 people to open. She's always the first one here, and she is continuing to be a stalwart member of Thrift Chapter number 12. I was appointed acting Grand Worthy Matron from June 2nd, 1998 through December of 1998. In 1998, the 50th anniversary of the Conference of Grand Masters and Grand Chapters was held here in Washington, D.C. And I can be proud to say that I earned the title of Queen for that year. In 1998, I was the Queen of the General Conference of Grand Masters and Grand Chapters. That was a very exciting time. Then I was elected Grand Worthy Matron at the 106th Annual Session of the Georgiana Thomas Grand Chapter in 1998. I presided over two sessions, the 106th Annual Grand Session and the 107th Grand Session. At the 106th Annual Grand Session, history was made. It was at this session that the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge mandated that the Grand Worthy Patron, the Associate Grand Patron, and any other male member who is a member or officer in the Order of the Eastern Star would be appointed by the Most Worshipful Grand Master. And that was a change in time. As a past Assistant Grand Lecturer, I felt an emphasis should be placed on the ritualistic work, and that was one of the goals that I had as Grand Worthy Matron. As we know, the Grand Worthy Patron is in charge of the ritualistic work with his team. But I felt that sometimes it needed a little nudging along, And coming from the Grand East, I felt that we worked well together and given him what I thought would be ritualistic excellence, and that worked very well. There was a focus on the Phyllis S. Bird Youth Fraternity. In bringing in the youth, we encouraged the members of the Order of the Eastern Star to bring their children, their grandchildren to the meetings. And I felt that it was very important that we keep the interests up for the children, to have activities for them to do, for them to have programs, to visit different places in the DC area. And one important event that I remember very well, we had a Queen and King contest for the Phyllis S. Bird Youth Fraternity. And the children had a marvelous time. They dressed up, marched in as if they were a real king and queen. This money that was raised through this activity was used for the border babies. If you all will remember, during the 80s, there were a lot of babies who were born addicted to drugs, and they were unable to be cared for by their parents. And there were hospitals and different places set up to take care of these babies. And I'm very proud to say that our Phyllis S. Bird Youth Fraternity was implemental in providing funds to care for these children. We had a very outstanding outreach program during this time. When I was worthy matron in 1999, I decided that charity is very, very important, but there's so many different levels. It's important to take care of our home charities, but we have to look out for the world, because the world is looking out for us. So I divided it into 3 different sections. I had international charities, national charities, and also local charities. The international charities were the Habitat for Humanity, which built homes for needy people, and Feed the Children, an organization that fed children in the Appalachian area. They fed children overseas. Anywhere there were hungry children, they were there. The national organizations that was supported by George Anna Thomas Grand Chapter in 1999 was the United Negro College Fund and the Southern Poverty Law Center. The Southern Poverty Law Center is a center that has lawyers and a board of people who look out for the civil rights of many people. They are very diligent against hate groups such as the Ku Klux Klan, Southern hatred, white organizations as well, and that's the Southern Poverty Law Center. We did a lot for our local charities, which is only right for us to do since there were so many. We supported the House of Ruth, the Whitman Walker Clinic, Covenant House, and many, many more. And I think an important thing that we did, we adopted 2 families the beginning of the year, and throughout the whole year, we provided sustenance or any type of food that they needed. We provided toys for the children. We provided clothing. We helped this family for a whole year, and we were greatly rewarded in the end. As I continued my journey through the Eastern Star, I also became members of other organizations, and they included the Herons of Jericho. I was past most ancient Grand Matron of Julia A. Jackson Grand Court, and I was also proud to receive the honors to become a General Conference Honorary past most ancient Grand Matron of the General Court of Herons of Jericho. I belong to the Ladies of the Circle of Perfection. I have served as past Royal Grand Perfect Matron of Dorcas Grand Court, Ladies of the Circle of Perfection. And I'm very proud to have been the very first lady to receive honors as an honorary past General Conference Royal Grand Perfect Matron. I'm a member of the Order of the Golden Circle, having served in the East in Richard Howell Gleaves Assembly Number 2, and also served as State Grand Law Lady Ruler in the Matthew Ellis Jr. State Grand Assembly. I have been illustrious commandress of Mecca Court Number 2, and also an officer in the Imperial Court for 12 plus years. The daughters are an auxiliary to the ancient Egyptian order, Nobles of the Mystic Shrine. And they are very, very organization that I have been a part of for many, many years. I am a member of the Order of the Cyrene Crusaders, a past Grand Princess Commandress of Marie I. Smith Grand Court, Cyrene Crusaders, and I have served as International Grand Princess Commandress, Order of Cyrenes for the years 2014, 2015, and 2016. The International Grand Court Order of Cyrenes is an organization composed of 27 different jurisdictions, which is 27 different states. I am also a member of the Princesses York Cross of Honor of the Convent General. I'm presently serving as Regal Prioress of Bertha M. Bragg Priory Number 6. This organization is composed of ladies who have served in the East in all 3 of the York Rite bodies, and also in the Order of the Eastern Star. And I am proud to say that I have served in the subordinate bodies as well as the grand bodies in each of the 4 organizations. I am, as I mentioned before earlier, I am a nurse, and I am in the Chi Eta Phi nursing sorority, which was the Alpha chapter originated in Howard University. And I am a dues-paying good member, I must say. And I'm also a daughter Elk and a member of the temple, Forest Temple Number 9 in Washington, D.C. Where do we see the Grand Chapter going at this time? I can only say that we can only survive with the combined efforts of all of us. Our hope continues to be placed upon our youth. We must encourage the young people to join the Eastern Star. I was very happy when the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge approved our idea of having ladies who belong to the Phyllis S. Bird Youth Fraternity become Eastern Stars when they turn 18 without having to go through so much red tape. And I think this is what we need to do to keep our organization going. Get them while they're young, get them involved, and make them interested in continuing and becoming an Eastern Star. Allowing ladies to become members of the Order of the Eastern Star who were not related to a Master Mason in 1995 was key to our survival at that particular time in 1995. But I feel that it is time now that we work very hard and diligently to develop efforts and methods to entice the wives, the sisters, the mothers, etc., of Master Masons to come into the fold, to become a member of the Order of the Eastern Star. And that way we can continue to survive. In my closing remarks, I would just like to say that nothing good survives without a great effort. We must be ready to assume any challenge or any peril that comes our way. We must put forth sincere efforts to reflect in our living the lessons taught by our order. Those lessons are charity, truth, and loving kindness.